I think what we've done in the past with James is got him back. We know how good he is, so we keep using him and keep bowling him, and eventually he's broken again. So we're really lucky in the fact that we've got 2 bowlers in particular on the sidelines that are world class, and we want to make sure that James is absolutely cherry ripe every time he plays. He's available for selection, but we've decided to rest him for this game and make sure that his long-term future is in really good shape.
Does it come into it as well that you've got the second of, I suppose, back-to-back test match, or 2 sets of back-to-back test matches coming up now, and to have him fresh for sort of the second of one of those is attractive too?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was always going to be one way or the other. He would miss this test and be fresher for the third test, or he has this one after the long break and doesn't play in the third. And I think if you look at Mitchell Starc and Josh Hazlewood's records at Lords, it's a good venue for one of those to come in and play and be confident in the fact that they can bowl really well here.
Tim, Jofra Archer's set to make his much anticipated test debut. Are you, as a batting unit, prepared for the extra pace he's going to bring, and possibly a few short ones as well? Yeah,
I think so. That's test cricket. I said yesterday, like, a lot of our guys have seen Jofra or faced him, which is a plus. Obviously, it's been in white ball cricket, but I think we've actually faced him in Australia where conditions really suit fast bowling. So I think we've seen him at his fastest. Guys know what to expect. They know how skillful he is and how good he is. So like most bowlers that play test cricket, there's going to be times where he's going to be a real threat, and we're going to have to weather that.
What have you made of all the hype around it, the expectation? Could that work in your favour?
It doesn't bother us, to be honest. We're focused on what we have to do, not the expectation around Jofra, whether he can handle that or not. I don't know. I don't think it'll worry him from what I know of him. But it's going to be exciting. It adds to the test match. It adds to the atmosphere.
Chris, Julian, then Paddock. Julian, wait for the mic, please.
Sorry. If someone had said to you 9 years ago, when you made your debut here, that you'd be back here as Australia captain, what would you have said in reply?
Well, I would have thought it would be in different circumstances, but nonetheless, I'm really proud to be a part of this test side. I'm rapt to be playing international cricket again and to have a second opportunity, and to have the captaincy with that is a great honour now. One that I certainly didn't want or expect, but doing the job now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
And what do you remember of your debut here?
Not a lot. I remember we won the test match. Marcus North, I remember getting 6 for, I think, which was interesting. We're a part-time spinner. I just remember then a lot of nerves. It was an interesting day, really sort of cluttered and nervy day, so I actually don't have a huge amount of memory of the day. I can remember Ricky Ponting giving me my cap, and Steve, but again, I can't remember a word he said. I'm not even sure if I was listening. So, it's always special when you come, having made my test debut here. I think that ground is always going to be special to you, but to have it here, I think it's a special ground for all cricketers. So our team's rapt to be here. We love playing cricket at Lords.
Just wait for the mic.
Tim, Justin's spoken a lot about 2004 Tour of India almost being a blueprint for how you guys are going about your business here. Have you guys actually sat and discussed that series, and do you remember watching it at all?
I remember watching it. Not all that much, but we've spoken about how we want to play our cricket. We've spoken about teams in the past that we want to try and emulate. I'm sure every team around the world is the same. You speak about a style or a brand of cricket that you want to play. We're no different. I think you look to take good things from all great teams that you see, and try and take those bits that fit with your current group. And obviously we've got 17 guys here that are completely different people that were on that tour, but there's some things that we can take from what that team did, or what we think is important for Australian cricket teams. And to have people like Steve Waugh around us is really helpful when you sort of want to bounce ideas or talk about the past, or just what it means to play for Australia. And that's something that this group is really conscious of, that we're always really respectful of people that have come before us, and we want to leave the Australian cricket team in a better place than when we came into it. So our history and our past is really important to us.
And just like you've spoken a lot about using these fast bowlers based on conditions, but do you also have combinations in mind? Like for example, Siddle and Hazelwood, they play similar roles. Is there a possibility of them playing together, or do you always want that attacking bowler like a Stark or a Pattinson there?
No, we can certainly play Josh and Peter together tomorrow. We haven't decided that yet, but yeah, obviously Mitchell is more of seen as more of a strike weapon, but he's been working really hard as well on his control. So yeah, there's not set combinations. We sort of come in the morning and have a look and go with a bit of a gut feel. And I said yesterday, we're not always going to get it right, but you try and make the best possible decision that you can when you have a look at the conditions that you're faced with.
Tim, just wondered, in terms of Mitch Stark and Josh Hazelwood, as a captain, have you noticed how eager they are to get going? I guess they're two guys who haven't been told that many times in their career that they're not be required when they're fit and available. Yeah,
no, they are. They're certainly. I think they're both, world-class bowlers, and when you leave guys like that out, particularly two of them at a time, you can see what sort of people they are, and we've been really impressed with both of them. We've had Josh Hazelwood on the A tour the whole time, sort of priming himself to play for the first test, and then when he missed out, obviously they were both disappointed, but they're really both excellent team men, and it's always nice from a captaincy and leadership point of view when you've got two senior players like that are world-class left out. They cop it on the chin and run drinks and train their backsides off in lunch hours and tea breaks, and sets a really good example for the rest of our team. So we're absolutely wrapped with the way they've gone about it, and whichever of one of those two we unleash tomorrow, they're certainly ready to go.
Tim, there's a lot of chat before the series about England's sort of vulnerability possibly being at the top of the order, but what we saw at Edgbaston is possibly in the middle order, you sort of got one over them in both innings, particularly sort of two players, Butler and Beresford, who've been playing in the World Cup and have had a long summer. Is that something you've spoken about since then? Is it sort of tactic to try and keep those guys down now that you've had early success against them?
Oh, obviously we want to keep all their batsmen down, but we certainly haven't spoken about any of their batsmen being a weakness, particularly their middle order. We think their middle order is as dangerous as any around international cricket. When you've got Butler, Stokes and Bairstow, we've seen how devastating they can be. So it was great to keep them quiet in the first test, but we know that it's a long series, and Test cricket being Test cricket, they're going to have their day eventually. But we've got some plans in place for all of them, and if we execute well, then we're half a chance.